Well, when it comes to technology, how is your dealership preparing for the future as far as big data is concerned?
Most dealers will either spend a lot of money and not get the results they were hoping for, or they'll cut the cost and then the results are insufficient to run their dealership.
So we reached out to Erik Nachbahr, president of Helion Automotive Technologies, to find out where dealers should start when it comes to securing data.
So the real things dealers need to be thinking about and focusing on are ensuring that they have the right platforms in place, that they have the right carriers in place to give them the bandwidth they need, and that they're planning for the future, because more and more technology, whether it's in sales or in service, it's running over their data infrastructure. So in service, they've got a lot of devices that are leveraging, the wireless, and they don't have enough wireless capacity. All of their software and applications are running over the network and running over the internet. So dealers really need to take a hard look at what technologies they have, who they're buying it from, and kind of where it needs to go in the future.
Okay, what they have, who they're buying it from, and where it needs to go in the future. Those are the first steps. What's the next step after that? Making sure that, everything is secure.
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times in the quest for, business outcomes, dealers really are just kind of putting a lot of technology in place without a lot of thought to who owns this data. Who's securing this data? How do we ensure that hackers can't access the system? They want to make sure that the system is easy to use for their employees, easy to access for customers and guests, but then they're not really making it difficult for the hackers to get in. So dealers really need to look at cyber liability and making sure that they're properly protected with both technology and things like, strong firewalls, and also having good insurance so that if they do get hacked, that the costs to protect them are there.
Okay, so how do they manage their data? Because when you're talking about big data, it appears most of the time daunting, especially if someone is unsecured and they don't know what's going on. So when you're talking about analytic and technology offerings, they fall within that category of big data. So it is sort of overwhelming. So what would you say to the dealer who is not prepared for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 5 years?
Well, I think most dealers we find feel ill-prepared for the coming years, and typically when we talk to them, they are. The thing that I would really say to a dealer is that you have to make sure that you've got the right partners in place with all of your technology vendors, that you can sit down with them and say, where are we going? What's my roadmap? What's next? And listen to what they have to say and get a lot of opinions, and then put those side by side and, give them the business sniff test where, hey, does this make sense? And does this sound like this is addressing my concerns? That's really what we tell as a starting point. And then really to get educated on what options they have. This stuff is really mysterious to dealers, and the best place to start is start getting an education on it, because it's business critical.
Erik will be a guest speaker at the CBT Automotive Conference and Expo. That's coming up February 9th through the 11th. Early registration is going on right now, so take advantage of that and head to cbtconferenceandexpo.com.